Welcome. My name is Penelope Chatterton. Welcome to Awaken the Dream. My friends, I'm so happy to be here doing a show about the infinite way, and I want to thank Tim Riley right off the top, my very fine director who has been loyal and wonderful and just gets better all the time. So thank you, Tim. And I also want to thank Elizabeth Parker, who has created with her husband Marty goldsmithglobal.org, which is for folks who do not have a group to work with on the Infinite Way material of Joel S. Goldsmith. He's written 50 books. He has 1,250 lectures. He has so much material, which Acropolis Books carries, by the way. If you want anything, please get in touch with Michael Krupp or check their website out. But anyway, because of a need for a lot of folks who really don't know how to thread the needle for how to get from one subject to another with the Infinite Way, this is a very fine way to do it. So thank you, Elizabeth and Marty. Thank you. And today, I have been listening to a lecture called That Spirit Within. Now, I'm going to pretend we're all in Joel's audience. He's up at the lectern, and he really straightens everybody out right away. It's 1964 in London, and I also noticed this was the last year of his life. And it was a three-part series, of which you'll get part one. And he looked at his audience and he said, now, how many of you know while you're here? What do you want to get out of this? And there's kind of a silence. And then he said, guess what? It's only going to be what you put into it. That is what you will get out of it. All right, a stern beginning from the boss. So with that in mind, he talks about being born as a human in the material world, sometimes not of our own doing or not expecting to be here, but we're here. We're here. So as we show up in this human dimension with two powers, thanks to Adam and Eve, showing us those two powers and good and evil, as we look at that, we realize there's fear, there's greed. We come into a plane where politics, friends, family, school, we're all talking about problems. We all have problems. You know, we thought Jesus Christ, who died for our sins, would solve everything. And guess what? We still have problems. So it's a very poignant lecture, and I'm really thrilled, and I get nervous because I want to do it so right for Joel and for the Infinite Way. And for all of you folks who are interested in mysticism, it's all about you having what it takes. So with the Master Christ and all the mystics that have ever been in every century, you name it, they all had the same message. What's different about the Infinite Way is he's raised the word consciousness. That's kind of a first. And he also rewrote the way things were worded so that we could understand it and take it out of the orthodoxy of the church. Because, you know, it can get you confused. It can take you away from the essence of the still small voice. We are here to listen, my friends. That's the name of the game. Now, the Master said, straight is the gate, narrow is the way, and few there be that find it. And he spoke to multitudes of folks who came in droves, wanting to be healed, wanting his message. But how few got it? Because the message is, are you going to take action? Joel says, okay, they're doing fine. It's about you and me. What do we do? How do we invite the still small voice? It means we do some work. We take action. If we don't, nothing happens. So few people say they read the Bible, got nothing out of it. You know, they hear a lecture, they read a lot of books, got nothing out of it. And Joel makes a point of saying you've got to look for being spiritually discerned. We may have been brought in with a Christ voice, but the spiritual discernment has to be cultivated by us. We can. It can be done because it's within, but if you don't wake it up, if you don't prepare yourself to hear and be still, moment to moment of every day and every night. You wake up in the middle of the night and be still and say, thank you, God. You are my life. Thank you for being my cause, for my voice, for everything that works, that's perfect. We are joint heirs to the heavenly kingdom, which means we have everything. But we won't have it if we don't check in. We don't take that action. So as he talked to this class, he was really strong. And I liked it because he was strong with me too. Every time I do this and I study a lecture, I grow. And I too, straight is the gate, narrow is the way. I don't get it every day. I'm working hard. But as I do this, it helps wake me up, which is where if you don't have a group, you can also go to that goldsmithglobal.org and get some help there. You'll get some meditation, you'll get a lecture, you'll get a closing meditation, and you'll be with others. On your mobile app, whatever you use, I would not be the person to know anything about that. As I say, I don't do directions or know north from south. It's just not my skill. So anyway, straight is the gate, narrow is the way, so we must go to work. Now the mystics in all ages, as I say, the message was identical. And you know, he talks about Moses bringing the Hebrews out of Egypt and Pharaoh's army. I mean, it's a miracle story that humans could not do. Moses listened. He was transformed by the still small voice. He knew what to do. He knew he would be guided out. Joel says there were clouds by day and pillars of fire by night. Now, no human could do that. Joel says, you know that, don't you? No human could present that to Moses. But he had a miracle. He had a miracle, and he proved he could save those folks. And then Elijah in the woods. He found a widow who had very, very little. And all of a sudden, as she gave to him, she was baking bread on rocks. Manna from the sky was coming down. Humans don't do that. Now, those are big miracles, but you know what? Those miracles can happen to us every single day. And Joel will say, the encouraging word is, those who do this work find being a human, living in this dimension, which is two powers, gets easier. I like that. It gets easier, and it's gotten easier for me too, to remember, love thy neighbor as thyself. I and my Father are one. He goes before me. He makes the crooked ways straight. He prepares mansions for me. Nothing like this happens unless you take action, and as Joel really spits out the word, you've got to invite. I love the way he says that. You've got to invite the Christ presence. Allow that to happen often. And you know what? As you practice each day and see each day go by, some better than others, eventually you'll be growing in taking action and understanding what the assignment is. It was a tough one. Jesus knew all about it. He knew all about it. And Moses worked really, really hard. Buddha worked hard. I mean, Lao Tzu, we have so many mystics that have worked so hard. It's not that this is an easy program, but it's a program for those who want inner peace. And I always say, who want to walk on water, who want a miracle life. And guess what one of the biggest words in this program is? It's surrender. Okay, if your body's a mess, I surrender my health. I surrender my family if there are family issues. What about kids? I surrender my children. I surrender my income. I surrender my home. If you surrender, you're not daring to tell God what you want. That's a big no-no. No, you don't make a list and say, this is really what I want. Would you help me with this? That's not what happens. You surrender everything because a brighter idea is the idea that can come from God. God is within you. Emmanuel, God with us. Wasn't that what the Hebrews chanted? And it is true. Now, God also mentions the marriage ceremony. You know, people who gather together, may God not put us under, or people put us under, when he says, people can't put us under. If God puts two people together, no one can tear that apart. So here's another message from the Infinite Way. Pray about everything. Your family, your husband, your marriage, your real estate, your business. Am I supposed to do this? You're not alone. And the best company is within. And he'll even say, you know, human companies can fail. It can sort of fall a little short to what is within you with the divine energy of the Christ. Within every soul. Every soul means every Protestant, every Catholic, every Jew, every agnostic, every atheist, everybody, every color, every creed. Occidental, Oriental, every race. It's within all. So we can't be fussy about being involved with one group thinking we're isolating ourselves. We must see every living soul in the perfection that they are, even if they don't know about it. You can pray for them. Yes, you can pray. You can ask to be forgiven for anything you screw up. Yeah, pray for your enemies. Appreciate those who are there for you. He talks about that widow who had so little, and what miracles came from having so little, with manna from the sky and cakes baked on a rock. That can only happen with miracles from God. So those examples are Joel trying to get everybody enlivened for what they can look forward to. So, we wake up each day. We say, "Speak, Lord, your servant heareth." The voice is closer than breathing, closer than your lungs, Joel says. It's just right there. It's knocking at the door of your consciousness. And what is that knocking? That knocking is the presence, waiting for you to say, "Hi, I'm listening. I stand at the door and knock, and I'm there." And you know what? God doesn't slumber or sleep. We do. Sometimes we think we need more sleep than we get, where Joel is saying, look, if you wake up, don't try and put yourself back to sleep. Why don't you just enjoy the presence? Why don't you just rest in the light? Why don't you talk to God? We get funny about controlling our sleeping habits, any habits, our addictions. Surrender. Folks, we got to remember the word surrender. Straight is the gate, I'm going to say it again, narrow is the way, and few there be that find it, but let's be one of those few that find it. I'm up for it. I want that. And it's funny, when the Infinite Way hit me, maybe 10 years ago, I opened that parenthesis in eternity. I had to sit down and I wept. It was like I found my soulmate, my mentor. You know, I've been through many, many paths. I've tried so many, even when I was a kid. And I was very blessed with several mentors that really were mystics. And they got me going on being, a spirit, being invisible. That's why we are eternal. We are invisible. Yeah, this body, well, we're enjoying it for a while. We can lay it down, but we live forever. Because spirit is like that. Who knows where we've been? But we will have the presence who doesn't slumber or sleep with us the entire, from birth to death, from one world to the next, until this world ends. If it does, we will have the voice of God with us. It cannot go away. It can't, it won't, it's built in. So my friends, you've got the Christ. The Master Jesus really was humble. He worked hard. He studied. It didn't just come overnight for any of the mystics. They all worked hard. So that may not be good news for a lot of you who don't like to work, but for those of you who find there's a difference in your day with how aware you are of the spiritual energy within you, the hand that's holding yours all the time. You can be in a supermarket, in the car, anywhere, and be aware. It's invisible, it's quiet. And here's another thing. As he spoke to his class, he said, I noticed a lot of you were new. And you know how I could tell? You came in, you were buzzing with each other. That's not how we prepare consciousness to receive a message. That's not how we prepare for being still. So what he's recommending, and he mentioned to his class, and we all need to hear this, prepare yourself. He said, we've got lots of little pamphlets here. Bring in something that you can read that's uplifting, that will get you ready to actually be discerning spiritually. If you're talking about what's for dinner, that's not going to do it. You've got to get ready. You've got to be spiritually alert. So he's recommending that they spend quiet time before he goes up to the podium, which makes perfect sense. They meditate together. Then you will hear what you need to hear. So if you don't prepare yourself, yes, you might read the Bible and not get anything out of it, or read a great book and not get anything out of it, or a lecture and say, I didn't get anything out of it, but maybe, just maybe, you didn't prepare your consciousness. And that's that word that the Infinite Way uses, consciousness, a divine consciousness. It's alert, it's alive, it's within you. And as Joel says, you come in sometimes not of your own will, but you end up here. And there's none of us that don't have to sort of try and figure this out. It's greed, two powers, thank you, Adam and Eve, are not easy when there's only one. There's only omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipresence again. There's only one presence, one power, and that's all there is. That's it. That's the essence of who we are as invisible spiritual folks. Who knows where we've been? Who knows where we're going? All I know is here we are in a world with war. Gosh, we have war, we have murders, we have such really horrible stuff to hear about. I'm starting to turn my TV off. I don't want to see it or hear it. I don't want to be irresponsible. Because sometimes when we're born in this human thing, we see all this happening and we think, well, I didn't start that war. I'm not responsible for that. You're responsible for changing consciousness and raising it. Now, here's a good point. When you raise it, this whole world is one. We're connected to every soul. We're all one together. So as you raise your consciousness in love one another, as you do that, you're helping to eliminate that evil part. The good and evil. The evil starts to lessen. As you can see, we've got work to do. But you know, I've been looking around at a lot of spiritual practices. They're really picking up. And they don't have to be the infinite way, but they're wonderful. They're enlightening people about mysticism, about the still small voice. And you know, the thing that's nice about this group situation is there's no dues. You know, Joel didn't say you have to come to class and pay me. You know, it's not part of that world. It's invisible. It's perfect. So when you meditate and when you pray, it's free and you have liberty. I like that word. You're free. You have liberty. I think Browning said, release the imprisoned splendor. It's pretty powerful. Yeah, release it. Let it flow. If you don't know what you're here for, and I haven't, all you have to do is say, look, I know I have some talent. I know I have some choices about things I love to do. Please guide me. Where am I going? What can I do to raise consciousness? It can be as much as being a janitor and smiling at somebody. It does not have to be a profound teacher, anyone who makes lots of money doing something or writing books. It's something very simple that just comes from your presence. Well, your presence is felt by everyone around you because you're connected. You cannot hide it. You're connected to everybody. So when you smile at somebody going down the street, or you send love to somebody, they all feel it because they see it and they feel it and they say, oh, we're connected. Love thy neighbor as thyself. The worst person you know, I've often said, needs your love, needs your prayers. Yes, I'm beginning to realize how much I need to pray for things right now that need to be enlightened and lightened. It's a beautiful journey. So it's a journey. It's a trip. We come in, we have talents, we go through so many chapters. My God, when I think of all the chapters, ballet dancer, marathoner, singer, special needs teacher, theater director, for so many wonderful experiences I've had, and all of them were perfect. I don't regret one of them. And each one took me to the next step. I'm getting older. Certain things are changing for me where I'm not as adaptable to some of the things I used to do. Couldn't run a marathon now to save my life. But I love to teach, I love to learn, and I love to be enlightened. And I like to be inspired above all. I can always depend on the still small voice. I have almost all of Joel's books, which I think I've read them all. Now I'm working on some of the lectures that I'm just getting to, like that spirit within, which really is strong. It's helped me realize I'm not alone in my struggle to be aware. And again, the good news is as you're aware, your days are better. Your days are better. And what more could you ask for but to evolve and grow and share? Find a way to let that imprisoned splendor out, as Browning said. Let it go. Love one another. Find a way to give. There are so many places to do that. And you know, everybody I know has a way to give. It be the food pantry, church. And just remember too, that it doesn't matter your race, your creed, your religion, your no religion, your atheism. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can walk on water, my friends, and it's totally up to you. You have to take action. So take action, please. Take action. Ask. Invite. Oh, when I say that word, I hear Joel. Invite the Spirit. Won't come if you don't ask. He's knocking on your consciousness saying, come. Come unto me, all ye who are heavy laden, and I will give you peace and rest. You can review the Lord's Prayer, the 23rd Psalm. They're all so beautiful, and they're all so meaningful about the withinness. Yes, my friends, the still small voice is waiting for you. It's not going to go away ever. You can't get rid of it. You can invite it. Start your day that way. Every inch of it, I want you to walk with me. I want you to talk with me. Things are paling here. I don't want to hear about anything else. I just want your voice. And he said, when the voice speaks, it thunders. And why did he say that? No one else can hear the voice you hear, by the way. But the silence around it is awesome. It really, it thunders. It thunders. And you listen and you take action and you give thanks and you surrender. You surrender everything, my friends. You surrender your children, your family, your health, your home. Any issue you have will get better. So I'm ready to wind down. I'm not quite sure what time it is or how long I've been talking because I can't see it on the board, but I'm just going to suggest that maybe I'm wrapping it up. So my friends, thank you for joining me on Awaken the Dream again. It's been such a privilege for me. God bless you all. Bye for now.